This meeting to order at 5:47. I apologize for the delay. So we'll be doing the Pledge of Allegiance first. If you would like to lead us. Can I have roll call, please?
Commissioner Peterson? Commissioner Conrique?
Here.
Commissioner Gonzalez? Commissioner Miller? Commissioner Spandry?
Present.
Commissioner Hain? We have a quorum.
Very nice, thank you. So we're gonna, for the consent items, we're gonna start with, are we gonna do a approval on all of them, or will you be able to do a presentation?
Would you like me to read the public comment setting?
Yes, please.
The San Benito County Parks and Recreation Commission welcomes your comments. Each individual speaker will be limited to a presentation total of 5 minutes. When addressing the commission via Zoom, phone, or in chambers, please state your name and county in which you reside for the record. Please address the commission as a whole through the chair. In participating via Zoom, select the Participants tab and click the Raise Hand icon. If you're using a phone, please press 9 or *9 to raise your hand. When your turn arrives, you will hear that you have been unmuted. If you are participating in person at the chambers, please complete a speaker card identifying the item on which you wish to speak and provide your completed card to the clerk prior to consideration of the item. Speaker cards are available on the table at the entrance to the chambers. Thanks.
Thank you. So, if we can have the acknowledgement of certificate of posting for February 28th, 2024 for regular Parks meeting and Recreation Commission. So we need the certificate of posting. Can we just do the whole consent agenda?
Yeah, you can
Okay.
do both and then just a motion
Just do
for
it
all
okay,
consent.
thanks. That's what I'd asked first. Can I get a motion to approve all of the 4 consent items? A second? All in favor? Motion passes. So we will do the 5 discussion items. The first one with Resource Manager Steve Loop. So on the bottom right. On the bottom right. When you're talking, if you look it up. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. Steve Loop, Public Works Administrator. So for this item, we just wanted to share with the Commissioners and with the public the scheduled meetings for the remainder of this year, just to get on everybody's radar. And if for some reason there was a meeting date where there wasn't going to be a quorum for some reason, because some folks are on vacation or doing fun things like that, just let us know, and we can adjust in the meantime. But we just wanted to bring this up to everybody's attention. And so the next meeting is on Wednesday, May 8th. And if you want to, please email us, the county, Stephanie, myself, Ariel, or Holly, if you're not going to be able to make the meeting, so that we could see if we have a quorum, and then we can just adjust accordingly. So I will pause there for questions from the public or the Commissioners.
Steve, what's the best lead time for letting you know these, if we can't make it? What's, how, best
So-
time frame?
Yeah, so Holly, with the county, she tries to call everyone about a week ahead of time, and we have to post about a week ahead of time. So if you can let us know at least 7 days ahead of time, that would be great before the meeting. So, and then we can make some decisions. So thank you.
And with anything moving forward, with the ad hocs and everything, are we gonna be able to have wiggle room of additional meetings in case we need to bring anything?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the ad hoc, you have a lot of flexibility with the ad hoc itself, which I know we'll talk about later, but yes, absolutely. So,
Okay. Any other questions? Any public comment?
None at this time.
Thank you.
I do. Oh, okay, great. And I guess we have to adopt the schedule with a motion, so we'll make it official.
So can I have a motion to approve the schedule for this Parks Commission?
Motion to move to accept the schedule.
I second it.
If you could turn your mic on when you.
I move to motion to keep the schedule for the Parks and Recs.
And we have a second. All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Great, thank you.
So who will be giving the presentation for the 5.2? Awesome, thank you.
Good evening, Commission members, members of the public, and members on Zoom. I am Gracie Rodriguez, representing County Administration Office, and I am here today for an approval of the creation of an ad hoc, the San Benito County Parks and Recreation Sponsorship Policy. Reason for my request today is the board did hear about the park sponsorship on their December 5th, 2023 board meeting, and they delegated the revamp or the revision of a sponsorship policy for all of our county parks to be delegated to your commission here today. So I'm asking for your body to appoint 2 members to be on this ad hoc. The ad hoc is for a purpose, that is the park sponsorship. So I'll be able to meet with those 2 appointed members on as needed basis to kind of discuss the formation of the policy. And then we're also welcome to invite other agencies. An example would be REACH. They can definitely be part of that, or part of those meetings, as well as the Vets Park, if that is a desire of the ad hoc. So for today, what I'm asking is that your body appoint 2 members and approve the creation of the ad hoc for that purpose.
So I just have a question. What's the duration? Did the board direct you on the duration of the time for this ad hoc to,
So-
and a start and a completion date?
Typically, ad hocs are good until whatever the purpose is accomplished. So it could be a year, it could be 6 months, depending on once the ad hoc finalizes whatever project is assigned for the ad hoc automatically dissolves.
I have a question. So the goal of this ad hoc committee is to get sponsorships for the different parks, is that it?
The goal of this committee is to create a park sponsorship policy. The ad hoc would then make a recommendation to your governing body. We would receive feedback. If we need to go back and revise anything, we will definitely do that. Come back to your body. Once your body feels comfortable with what they have, next step would be to present it to the Board of Supervisors. The Board of Supervisors would have to formally approve it. They may also have feedback, so it may be delegated back. And then once we all kind of come into agreement and everyone's happy with the product, then that was when the board adopts the policy and the ad hoc is dissolved. Yeah.
And so would we have to have because we have the historical park and we have the vets park,
We can definitely invite them to those meetings.
we probably should, because the vets park has their own commission too. And
Mhm.
anything that it would have to go back to the vets park commission for any other, I just wanted to be it out there because I don't want to take over especially for the historical park. I think it's really important that they know their park and having input there. So, but we just need to form. So do we have any volunteers to assist with this?
So the ad hoc committee is creating the policy.
Yes.
We're not going out and trying to get sponsors.
No, the policy would essentially give you a criteria, a way to apply for sponsorship, how to kind of contribute and be a part of the whole process. So the policy would kind of streamline it, and whoever is going to be in charge of that policy, which I'm assuming is going to be Resource Management Agency, they would have this as a guidelines to how to process.
And create some funding.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that.
So we have one. Do we have another volunteer?
I don't mind.
So we have 2 volunteers. Yay.
Okay, and then I just need a motion to approve the ad hoc, the creation of the ad hoc, and appointing Michelle and Alana.
So, is there, in case of a problem, do we need an alternate in case somebody can't show up, or is that appropriate, or?
I would stick with the 2 members, and then.
Just checking. Okay, no, I just never know. Okay, so, and then we have a public comment before we make approve.
Yes, thank you. I have been concerned about the fact that the policy is going to be created by a county board, yourselves, the Parks and Rec Commission. And since we have Hollister and San Juan Bautista as cities in the county with naming policies, and the regional park is right next to the Hollister, and I'm thinking that we need to invite those entities as well in order that maybe we can create a consistent policy across the county so that when you've got elements that are bordering like Anza Trail and San Juan Bautista, that's a county park, and so forth. So if that was within your purview to do, to reach out to Don Reynolds because they do have a Parks and Rec commissioner now, and then of course Hollister has theirs, so it might be helpful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I guess the next question would be is we have 2 appointees here, and we can invite all these others to make sure that we have
Yes.
input?
Yes.
Okay. because I don't want to take away from, you're right, I don't want to take away from them because, yeah, I understand. So, but as long as they're invited. And so how do we word that to where,
Once the two members are appointed, I will contact them and then kind of discuss with them who they want to invite, who they want involved. I'll meet with them as needed basis. And once we get to a good place, we'll bring back a recommendation for your board to consider, and then go from there, kind of throughout the process.
okay. Okay, so a motion to approve are to appoint 2 volunteers.
I make a motion to approve the 2 volunteers. We add.
I second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
So I guess you're up again, Mr. Loop.
All right. Thank you, commissioners. We'll jump over to item 5.3. So we're going to give you some project updates and talk about a survey that we're going to release to folks here and any other stakeholders that this commission deems appropriate. So regarding Vets Park, we'll talk about that first. The Board of Supervisors allocated for construction $330,000 to upgrade 2 bathrooms. And we've completed design of the first restroom upgrade over near the skateboard park. Made some revisions based on this commission's recommendations, and the plans are done. We provided the plans to one of our contractors that we have on call that has constructed a lot of these smaller type of buildings. And the current estimate, construction estimate is about $250,000, which does absorb a bit of that budget. So we're working to clarify a few of the items to see if that's the full budgets that is required for construction. And so we're working with the contractor to see if the price can come down a bit. Once our overall team comes to an agreement on the price, we'll move forward with the improvements, and then we'll see how much budget we have remaining. One thing to note is for ARPA funds and things, if we don't, like if we have remaining funding from one ARPA fund, especially for parks, we can switch it over to other ARPA funds. So there might be some opportunities, but just for that first restroom, we're at about $250,000 right now. So second item, also with ARPA funding that's going over at Vets Park, is the parking lot resurfacing, restriping, and lighting improvements. And so the Vets Park commissioners asked us to redesign that layout. And so we're doing that. And the goal is to begin construction in summer of 2024. The preliminary estimate on that is actually about $650,000 right now. So the good news with that one is because it's new construction as opposed to a remodel, we can actually use some park impact funds, and so we'll be able to backstop whatever delta we have on that budget. So that's good news. So jumping over to the historical park, we actually have completed the upgrade to the existing bathroom at the historical park, and I'll show you some photos in a moment. Next step is to engage architect and civil engineer for a new bathroom with a leach field, and we just started discussions with those park folks about where the location of that could go, but we do want to begin construction of that this year because it's also funded by ARPA. We have $750,000 for that. And the goal is to have one restroom and a leach field that is sized to accommodate more than just that restroom. So, for example, if we want to add on with a second restroom or connect to a different source of, perhaps the dance hall needs sanitary sewer service. So we just had discussion about that recently. And so but the ARPA fundings have to be committed by the end of this year, so we have to get into a contract with a contractor. I don't think we have to complete construction, but we have to be in contract with a contractor. So that's good, because that motivates us to move quickly in that manner. And I'll show you the photos in a moment. And then before that, because it's a little bit of an easier project, we're going to engage that same civil engineer to install a potable water treatment system at the park. And so that can happen a little bit faster, because it's just kind of a big filtration unit. We just have to figure out the most efficient place to put it. So so that's what's going on with Historical Park and Vets Park. And I'll show you some pictures of the restrooms. So big improvement over what was there before. This is the men's room, and there's actually 3 stalls on both. Both the men's room and the ladies' room are similar. They're kind of a mirror image of each other. And so that's a new sink and mirroring areas, and hopefully the mirror lasts for a little while intact. And then this is the women's room, similar but kind of a mirrored of the men's room, and some restrooms. So looks great. I think they did a great job. And then the park operators also reaching out to some local artists to maybe add some fun artwork around the outside of the building. Right now it's just a plain white, and sometimes that's problematic. So hopefully that works out, so we could have some kind of a nice local artist provide some artwork on the building as well. And so I'll pause there on those 2 parks before I go to our other parks, just for any questions from the commissioners. And then, so.
You know, I always have questions.
Okay.
You know, I always do. So the restroom, I know we had a problem where it was the walkway going up to the restroom. Is it paved or is it still gravel? Because that's still not ADA compliant with wheelchairs. What's the status on that? Because that's going to be the next thing is that you still have grandma with her walker sliding down the hill, because it's not. So what's going on with that? Is there funds for that?
So that's actually what I mentioned, one of the reasons I mentioned, because I had a note from before that was actually, pretty sure you mentioned it previously, because I was reading some notes or minutes. So again, if if we have funds left over, the tricky part with this restroom is where do we take that to, right? Because it's, I guess we'd have to take it out to the parking lot area as best we could to be ADA, but there's not an ADA path out there today. So to answer your question, if there's funds remaining from the restroom remodels, then we will definitely look at adding more sidewalk and some ADA access. So.
And then over by the dance hall, the leach field, will that be able to hook into a potential add-on for like a kitchen or a restroom? I'm hoping. If we're gonna go big, might as well do it all right now instead and leave it capable, because having the hall, the distance away from the restroom, it's pretty far.
Right, so we do plan to put the new restroom over by the dance hall, kind of near the saloon area. We haven't decided on location. It was mentioned recently also that perhaps the dance hall would want a kitchen and or things. So we will size the leach field accordingly. If we have the room, we will. I don't know logistically if, that's a different project obviously, but we will try to size the leach field so that it can have some extra hookups between either an extra restroom or extra kitchen faucet from the dance hall. So we'll do that.
I just know how important it is to have an outdoor venue such as the historical park, because of the concerts and everything like that, and having the capabilities of being able to host more events there because we're in Hollister, we don't have a lot of event venues that are particularly amazing like the historical park. So being able to grow a bit is, I mean, instead of thinking inside the box, so we're just gonna fix it right here. If we don't start looking at it as a bigger picture, what's gonna end up happening is we're gonna keep trying to catch our tail because we've gotta get bigger and then we're not gonna have funding. So, you know, if it just, the growth of that park is gonna be, I mean, it's a gem that, it's just a hidden gem. So.
Agreed. And another thing that was discussed was having showers available in the new restroom for those type of events where folks are staying overnight and whatnot. So, yep.
And then I just have more questions about Betts Park, because, you know, it's just, so, for the restroom that you're talking about, that's the restroom over by Hollister Heat, or building a new one by the skate park? I'm not understanding.
For vets, no, we're just talking about that red
Okay, the red
building
one,
that's there.
okay.
Yeah, to remodel that one.
Okay.
To make it inside of it at least ADA, and then we're trying to make the landings ADA compliant as well. And then hopefully when we do the resurfacing, there'll be an ADA path to that one actually, since there's hardscape out there, so.
Okay, so we're getting into the season now.
Mhm.
Are there going to, if these bathrooms are gonna be closed, are there going to be porta potties available for, or how are we going to, are we gonna have restrooms out there? Because as it is, we're already fighting for space when it comes to, for tremors and the heat and the skate park. There's, you know, you close those bathrooms and there's nothing available.
Yeah, similar to when we did
So-
the historical park remodel, we'll have porta potties out there for
Okay.
the remodel of this restroom as well.
And open and closed at when, or how is that gonna, because you know, I know they're gonna call, I'm gonna get like a million phone calls, because they're gonna ask, what time are they gonna be open, dawn to dusk, because the adults are out there a certain period of time, when it's softball season, and the adults are out there, and so are they gonna be open, or just, if we can just kind of get ahead of the game so that my phone's not ringing off the hook.
Yeah, we can work out a time frame. If it needs to go past, I'll say dusk, so to speak, then we might just have to leave the porta potties open around the clock. I'm not sure we're going to be able to staff to go lock them at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, but we can work that out.
Okay, because City Rec, I mean, if it's their program, they could open and close it too. I don't know if they would be willing to do that, but it's always
Mhm.
you know, it's always, because it's their leagues that are out there. So,
Mhm.
I mean, it's always a give and take with them if we can reach out to them, so.
Yeah, I think we can work that out.
And, there was some new lighting that went in?
Well, for the parking lot remodel, there's going to be quite a few lights that are going to be installed. Is that the question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought I saw some new lights and the fencing. These are things that people are saying, when is that gonna be repaired? People are sending me pictures.
Of the fence outside?
Over a year, that
By
a
Briggs.
table, a car went through on Hillcrest and Memorial, and the gates.
Yeah, we reached out to one contractor who, the business got sold to a new contractor for fencing, but we'll get the fence repaired. It has been too long, so thanks for the reminder on that. So.
Been over a year, so, yeah.
Has it?
And
Okay.
it's really looking, the park looks horrible right now, so because of the fencing, so. It is what it is, but I just wanted to I've just been getting texts because I knew the meeting was coming.
Okay.
And so, they're just asking. And, so restriping, if we can get some more dates of when it is so that we can let them know, each of the groups know, because I know they've already have their schedule out, and I'm not sure if they submitted their schedule to you.
They did, so we're actually gonna wait till the leagues are finished towards the end of summer, was what their request was, and I can't remember if it was July or August, but when kind of the last games complete is when we're gonna start the project.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's all for me. Anybody else have questions? So those are the two things that I'm always into, so. Any other questions? No.
Right.
Any other, public comment? Thank you.
I would suggest, I have a few more slides, and
Okay.
then maybe open up public comment after that.
Okay.
If that's okay? Okay. Great. So, Sunnyside Park, hopefully construction will begin this summer, pending how long it takes to order playground equipment, which we've heard different timeframes on that. and then it should take about 6 months for the completion of those two parks. And I did have images from before, but just for folks that aren't familiar with Sunnyside, if you're familiar with Hospital Road off of Southside Road, there's going to be a park located east of Hospital Bridge. And then in Sunnyside Estates itself, there's already a designated field and area for that park. So there's actually two parks that we call Sunnyside Park. So hopefully those can begin construction this summer. And then jumping over to Riverview Regional Park. So we just completed our consultant just completed the 60% design plans. And so we're reviewing those in March of this year, so in the next month. And we're thinking either the last week of March or the first week of April, we're going to have our second round of second round of stakeholder meetings. We've had multiple stakeholder meetings over the years, but we had one approximately 6 months ago. And then this next one is going to be focused on, for example, if you're into disc golf, we're going to have a half-hour meeting on that. If you want to talk about community gardens, we'll have a half-hour meeting on that. And basically, based on the areas and activities, we're trying to work out the logistics, but we're going to have probably 4 or 5 focused stakeholder meetings at the end of March or the first week of April. So we'll reach out to this group as well as the Vets Park group and some other stakeholders, high school and some other folks, the city, to just invite some folks. And it's kind of, it's open. There's no magical, you have to have been gardening for your whole life to be invited, but we just want to have the groups that are interested in certain features attend those meetings. And then that'll help us get to the 100% plans. But what it'll also help us do is, unless we see some major changes, we have playground equipment ready to go, including some equipment for some all-age folks. And so that order is going to take approximately 7 or 8 months, but let me keep going through the schedule because there's a little bit of a new wrinkle in the schedule. So we were hoping to complete our environmental in the fall of this year, but it looks like one of our permits, when we talk to our environmental folks, probably won't be ready until March of next year, which is frustrating because it's just a permit that says if we hurt these little critters, we will do X, and it takes maybe the permitting agency a year just to give us that answer because we're already through all the studies. And anyways, so it could be a year till we get through the environmental analysis, unfortunately. The design will actually be finished probably September, so we'll just be pretty much waiting for that permit. So if we're lucky, the permit will arrive sooner and we can start constructing sooner, because we were hoping to construct this fall, actually. And this is being conservative. This is kind of, our environmental folks have been experiencing a 1-year processing of this certain permit, and so we'll see. Then if that's the case, we can go at construction within probably a couple months. What we'll do is we'll put the park package out to bid the moment we have the permit, because the contractor has to know some of the things that the permit might require for them to perform while they're constructing. And then if we start constructing in April, we will be finished by December of next year if rain and the weather cooperates. But we don't really like constructing later in the year, obviously. So we'll see how that goes. And let me show you a couple images, because we're going to reach out to this group and send folks here a link, and you can forward that link to other folks you know. And so our regional park designers, we have a designer for what they call the pump track, which is a bike track, which makes me nervous, but that's okay because it's built in other places and they seem to be working well. And so it's a survey, and I'm actually going to click on the survey in a second and kind of run you through it real quick. But it's for folks, you know, kind of teenagers or younger to be on their bikes and to have some fun. So they call it a pump track. And then we're also going to have a remote control track. And so there's a survey that we're going to release to this group, and your names won't be released or anything. It's just to get input on what kind of features you want to see in these two items, whether, well, I'll show you in a second. We'll see if the link works on this when I click on it. And once you hit submit, when you're done with the survey, that's it. It just goes straight to the design team, and then it'll help them refine their design for the 100% design that they're going to be working on over the next 4 or 5 months. So let me see if this works here. Because I got an idea. Let's try this. Do this maybe. Might work. Okay, here we go. So when you click on the survey, it'll just ask for your email basically, and age, and all kinds of fun questions. How long you've been riding, and anyways, I won't go through the whole thing, but it's just to give our designers a little bit of input on what you want, what the community wants to see. We don't want to release this to the entire community because we want people that are kind of focused on parks and things. But again, you can forward it to, if you have friends or family that might be interested in the bike track, that's absolutely fine. Similar to the remote control design survey, click on that, and I think one of the questions is, are there any features that you think might be fun or logos or artwork to kind of incorporate into the remote control track to make it kind of unique to San Benito County. So just a couple of fun surveys, and I think the designers asked that we would give them a response by the middle of March, so I'll call it March 15th for whoever wants to respond to the survey, and that way they can kind of continue with their design. And so that'd be appreciated for any folks that want to help out with our surveys. And I think that's it. I'll just go to the next slide. Yeah. So there you go.
So any questions? Go ahead.
Steve, I had a quick question. So there's a disc golf designer that we've been trying to get involved, and we do not know. We haven't gotten any response from the designer down in San Luis Obispo. Not returning any emails.
Oh, right.
And,
Okay.
And so
I'll take care of that.
I would like to know how we proceed with this, or.
Yeah, we can talk afterwards, but I'll find out why that's not happening. But we definitely want that type of person involved at the meeting, and even before the meeting is fine. So we can talk afterwards.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a question. So you're saying in a perfect world, you get your permits and everything, the park would be open in December of 2025?
That's conservative. In a perfect world, it would be 6 months earlier, which if the permit folks
Yeah.
would, yeah, but we're I won't say it's worst case scenario, but based on some other permits that they've been processing, same kind of permits, that seems to be the timeline. Even though our design will be finished, it'll just be waiting for the permits.
So has anybody reached out to our, to the high school with our special needs families about anything?
So we have, first of all, the answer is no, but we have received images of type of features of the park, amenities, I should say, that can be added. So I'll tell you, I'll send an email to Sean Tenenbaum, and if you have folks that you're aware of or that he's aware of that want to reach out for that stakeholder meeting, because that's going to be one of the meetings for the playground equipment, just for that. The main playground's already set, but we have, I think there's about 8 different options of and we can pick 3 or 4, depending on what that group prefers. So that'll be part of the focus stakeholder meeting, but
Okay.
good question. So I'll.
I just, it's just, I have a lot of friends with special needs and children, adults, and I think the frustrating part is they have to leave town. And now with this roundabout, I can tell you nobody's feeling comfortable leaving town. And so there's really no place to go. And it's not fair to this, to this part of our population that they have to go to Salinas, or they have to go to Monterey, or they have to go to Morgan Hill to go to something where it's just, they just want to get some breath of fresh air. And I think we should be able to give that to our community. I mean, that's what this park is about.
Mhm.
So.
Absolutely.
But.
Yeah. So I'll send an email to you and Sean. I don't know of the group, but if there whoever folks of families that would like to, participate in that focused meeting, that'll be one of the focuses. And
I'd appreciate it, thank you.
yeah, you bet.
So do we have any public comment?
None at this time.
Okay. Can you come up to the microphone? Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I just have a quick question on Roger Miller, San Benito County. The high schools should be an intricate part, and I'm sure that's been clearly they've been involved in the planning of this, as far as extension for cross country and all those other things. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so not only did a few of the high school staff, they were actually on the team that helped select the architect, but they were actually at they've been at a couple stakeholder meetings, but they were at the most recent stakeholder meeting, and we actually adjusted the park a little bit based on their input. So there was a few folks there from the high school, which is great, staff and others. And so, yeah, a lot of this is being designed. We have a physics egg drop platform. Anyway, they've been involved, and we hope they stay very involved. So, yeah, but thank you. Absolutely, and just so everybody knows, the high school actually 2/3 of the land of the park was provided via a lease of $1 for 99 years to be used as this park. So they actually provided 2/3 of the land for the park. The high school did. So kudos to the high school.
Mhm. So any other public comments? So what do you need from us? Do you need us to?
So what I would request from commissioners is to hopefully complete the survey in the next couple of weeks. Would be wonderful. Forward it to folks, and then once we have a date we'll be sending out a couple options of days to this group and some other groups for the focused meetings to occur. Tentatively, I think one was going to be March 25th, and then the second one was going to be in the first week of April. So we'll send that email to this group, and it'll probably be just a choice of a couple dates. And we're just going to focus on one afternoon in those dates, or maybe in the morning, we'll see, but probably in the afternoon. That way it gives us a little more flexibility towards the later part of the afternoon. And it's going to be, I think, about 4 hours total. So, yeah, but if you could fill out the surveys or forward the surveys to folks that that might want to be interested in the bike track or the remote control track, that would be the request. So, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so thank you.
Mhm.
Appreciate your time. Working late and all, we appreciate you guys. So we're going to do commissioners' reports. We can start at this end. Do you have any reports?
Nothing to report.
Nothing? Well, welcome to the commission. And I don't have any reports. So with that said, we're going to adjourn I need a motion to approve the adjournment. Got that this time. I need a motion to approve Need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Any second? All in favor?